Welcome back everyone. In today's session we are going to learn two new formulae, that is midpoint formula and section formula. In the previous sessions in exercise 7.1 we have done in exercise 7.1 we applied distance formula. Now for exercise 7.2 you need to remember these two formulae or these two concepts. So what did we learn in exercise 1? We were given 2 points and we were finding distance between the points, right? We had 2 points, ax1 y1 and bx2 y2, and we were finding distance between the points. Yeah, this was the concept of exercise 1. So we proved different cases in that, whether it formed a square or not, whether it formed a triangle or not. Now these 2 points, we learned how to find the distance between these 2 points by using distance formula. Okay, now if you want, this line segment has how many midpoints? This line segment has only one midpoint, isn't it? Say that midpoint is P. So this line segment can be divided into 2 equal parts from this point P. Okay, to find this point on the graph, okay, to find this point on the graph we use midpoint formula. Okay, we use midpoint formula. Now if I do not divide this line into 2 equal parts, suppose if I divide it from some other point, say from here, from Q. So is Q dividing this into 2 equal parts? No, this part AQ is smaller, okay, and Q to B is longer. So when the parts are not divided equally, okay, when they are not divided equally, if they are divided in some other ratio, then we use section formula. So let's have a look at these two new formulae, that is midpoint formula and section formula. To begin with, midpoint formula. So when you want to find the midpoint of a line segment with a x1 y1 and b c x2 y2, and b is the midpoint, the formula is x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2. Very simple formula. X1 plus x2, whatever may be the value, you should add them and divide by 2, then y1 plus y2 by 2. So let's have a look at one example. Midpoint. So this is the line segment with the points 4 comma 1 and 10 comma 5. So your x1 y1 is 4 1. Okay, this is your x1 y1, and this is your x2, 10 comma 5 is your x2 y2. Okay, when you substitute in the formula, 4 plus 10 by 2 and y1 plus y2 is 1 plus 5 by 2. 4 plus 10 is 14 by 2, that is 7, and 1 plus 5 is 6 by 2, that is 3. So 7 comma 3, this midpoint of this is 7 comma 3. This point is 7 comma 3 on the graph. So you can find the midpoint of any line segment only when 2 vertices are given. Okay, so this is about midpoint formula. Now coming to the next point, section formula. What is section formula? When we should use, what is the difference between section formula and midpoint formula? We'll see that. So for section formula, I'll tell you what is the formula. First let me explain you when we will use that. So suppose if line segment is given, again I am telling you, just now I said you, but again I am telling you, if a line segment A and B, AB is divided in some other ratio, say 2:3 ratio, or say line segment is divided in the ratio, line segment PQ is divided in the ratio 3:1, means 3 parts are here and 1 part is towards this side. if the line segment is divided in the ratio 3 is to 1, 2 is to 3, any ratio, but not 1 is to 1. Okay, 1 is to 1 is midpoint. What is the ratio here? In which ratio this is divided? This is divided in the ratio 1 is to 1, isn't it? Equally divided. If it is not divided equally, and if you want to find this point P or this point say A or anything, when you want to find this point which divides a line segment, then we use section formula. Okay, there we use section formula. So in section formula we need three things. We need 2 points and we need the ratio. This ratio is usually taken as m1 is to m2 in the formula. Okay, ratio is taken as m1 m2. Here what is m1 m2? m1 m2 is 3 is to 1. Okay, m1 is to m2, m1 is to m2. So m1 is 3, m2 is 1. Here m1 is 2 and m2 is 3. So we need m1 m2, that is the ratio, and we need 2 points x1 y1 x2 y2. Okay, so let's have a look at the formula. So here is the formula. When a line segment A x1 y1 B x2 y2 joining these 2 points is divided by any point say P, okay, in the ratio m1 is to m2. Okay, some ratio should be there. m1 is to m2. Just now I said you the example. So ratio, so the formula, section formula is, it goes like this: m1 x2, okay, m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, and m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So this is the formula we use to find this point P. To find this point P, we will have this ratio and we'll have these 2 points x1 y1 and x2 y2. So we'll substitute all these in the formula: m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, and m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. Just remember the formula in this way. Don't write m1 x1. Okay, it's reverse of the midpoint formula. In midpoint we write x2 x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. Here we write x2 plus x1. Okay, now this section formula becomes midpoint formula. The section formula becomes midpoint formula when you take the ratio m1 is to m2 as 1 is to 1. Just write m1 and m2 as 1. What do you get? If you write 1 here, it becomes x2. If you write 1 here, it becomes x1. So x1 plus x2. And if you write 1 plus 1, what it becomes? It becomes 2. So that becomes again the midpoint formula, because ratio is 1 is to 1. Okay, so this is derived from midpoint formula only. Now let's have a look at one exercise question based on section formula. Okay, so you must remember the formula, just then you can easily do the exercise. So here this is a question. Now he is asking you to 7.2 question number 1, find the coordinates of the point which divide the join of -1, 7 and 4, -3 in the ratio 2 is to 3. So here this point P is dividing this in the ratio 2 is to 3. Okay, so this is your m1 m2. What is your m1 m2? 2 and 3. And x1 y1 will be this one, -1 7, x1 y1. This will be x1 y1. 4, -3 will be x2 y2. Okay, this will be your x2 y2. Sorry. Fine. So anyway, I'll take the values here again. What do we have to find? We have to find the coordinates of this P which divides AB in the ratio 2 is to 3. Ratio is also given in the question. Okay, so we can find it separately. to find the value of x. Okay, to find x, this is x, and to find y, I'll use this part of the formula. You can club them together, find xy together, or you can first find x using m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, and you can find y by using this part. Okay, so here I am finding separately. What is m1 m2? We have taken here let the point be p of x comma y. Okay, and this is divided in the ratio 2:3, so we have taken the ratio 2:3, m1 m2 and x1 x2, because I need that in the formula m1 x2 plus m2 x1. I need x1 x2, so I have taken x1 x2 minus 1 and 4. Okay, substituting this all in the formula m1 x2, that is m1 is 2 and x2 is 4. You can see here m1 x2 plus m2 x1, so 3 into minus 1. Okay, 3 into minus 1 by m plus m1 plus m2, that is 2 plus 3. So this 2 4 times is 8 and 3 1 times is minus 3. 8 minus 5 by 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 by 5 is 1. So we got the value of x. Next we can find the value of y. For finding the value of y, the formula is m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. It's all if you want to remember it easily, just remember 1 2 and 2 1. Okay, remember 1 2 and 2 1, and then add m's in that, m and y or m and x. 1 2 2 1, m1 y2 and m2 y1. So here m1 m2 is 2 and 3, and what is y1 y2 in this? Y1 y2 is 7 and minus 3. Okay, so y1 y2 is y1 is 7 and y2 is minus 3. Okay, from the question also you can take, or from the figure. Okay, so y1 is 7 and y2 is minus 3. So I'll write here minus 3. Hence putting the values in the formula. So what is m1? m1 is 2, m1 y2, 2 into minus 3, and m2 y1, 3 into 7. So 2 3 times is minus 6 and 3 7 times is 21. If you subtract, you get 15 by 5 by 15 by 5 is 3. Okay, so therefore x comma y is 1 comma 3. This is the point which divides the line joining these 2 points. Okay, so the line joining these 2 points is divided by 1 comma 3. Now in the next upcoming questions of exercise, you'll see different types of questions. So remember one thing, whenever this section formula question comes, it can come in different forms. Okay, here ratio was given, points were given, we found this point. Okay, we found the point P. In some questions, point P will be given, A will be given, and B will be given. Means the point will be given. There you need to find ratio. We can find out of these 4 things. There are 4 different things. Okay, first thing, the point A. Second is this point B. Third is the ratio, and fourth is this one. Okay, out of these 4, any one will be missing. Any one can be missing. We can find that missing one by using section formula. Very easily we can find. So today we found, in the first question we found the point, that is we found the 4th one. Ratio was given, 1, A and B were given. Okay, now let's have a look at another question. Find the coordinates of the points of the trisection of the line segment. So what do you mean by trisection? If a line segment is divided into 3 equal parts, okay, so we need to cut it 2 times. To divide a line segment into three equal parts, we need to cut it two times. Like here, P and Q are dividing AB in three equal parts. So P is dividing AB in the ratio 1:2 or not? Yes, one part is this side and two parts are towards this side. So point of trisection, here the ratio is not given, you can observe. Ratio is not given. He is asking find the coordinates of the points of trisection of the line segment. So points of trisection are P and Q here. So P is dividing this line segment in the ratio 1:2. One part is towards the left and two are towards the right. And Q divides this in the ratio, this Q. Okay, you can see clearly. Q is dividing this line segment in the ratio 2:1. Okay, 2:1. So always remember, whenever point of trisections are asked, the ratio is fixed. Okay, these two are point of trisections. Trisection means dividing a line segment into three equal parts. Okay, three parts. So what are the three parts in this? The three parts are A to P is one part, then P to Q second part, then this is third part. Okay, so the point of trisections are fixed, the ratio is fixed here. Ratio will not be given, so the ratio is 1:2 and 2:1. So two times we have to apply section formula here. So I have taken, let the given points be A 4, -1, B -2, -3. Okay, -2, -3. P and Q are 2 points on AB such that AP is equal to, just now I said you this, AP is equal to PQ is equal to QB. Finding P. Okay, first we'll find P. So P is dividing it in the ratio 1:2. So here M1 M2 will be 1 and 2. And for AB, x1 y1 x2 y2, we'll take the values of x1 y1 and x2 y2. And here I am finding both x and y. Okay, so for finding x, I'll use this formula, mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n. Okay, m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. And I'll substitute all the values carefully in this. Then for finding the value of y, m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2, so I'll substitute all these values in this both the formulae. Okay, and simplified you will get 2 minus 5 by 3. Okay, then to find the value of Q, the ratio in which Q divides AB is 2:1. Okay, so Q is dividing AB in the ratio 2:1. So this is your m1 m2. Okay, and x1 y1 x2 y2 are here. So we have taken all the values, m1 m2 2:1, x1 x2 y1 y2. Okay, x1 y1, this is your x1 y1 and this is your x2 y2. Okay, so substituting all these values again in the formula, x1 y1 x2 y2 m1 m2. So for finding x, I'll use m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. m1 x2, what is x2 here? m1 x2, substituting this 2, then m2 x1. Okay, so 2 into -2 and 1 into 4 by m1 plus m2 is 2 plus 1 3, -4 plus 4 by 3 is 0. Okay, this is done. Then we'll come to m1 y2. What is m1? m1 into y2 is 2 into -3, and m2 into y1 is 1 into -1. Yeah, go very carefully, don't confuse in substituting the values. Remember the formula, that is the most important thing. Okay, remember the formula, then substitute the values from the question. So 2 into -3 and 1 into -1, 2 into -3 is -6, and this is -1, -7 by 3. 0 comma -7 by 3, the 2 points, this is 0 comma -7 by 3, So finally we have got both the points P and Q. So this is Q of 0 comma minus 7 by 3, and this is P of 2 comma minus 5 by 3. So these are the 2 points which divide the line into 3 equal parts. Okay, hope this concept is clear to you all. Thank you.